This is Linux in Laws, a podcast on topics around free and open source software, any associated contraband, communism, the revolution in general, and whatever else fancies your tickle. Please note that this and other episodes may contain strong language, offensive humor, and other, certainly not politically correct language. You have been warned. Our parents insisted on this disclaimer. Happy, Mum? Thus, the content is not suitable for consumption in the workplace, especially when played back on a speaker in an open plan office or similar environments. Any minors under the age of 35, or any pets, including fluffy little killer bunnies, your trusted guide dog, unless on speed, and cute T-Rexes or other associated dinosaurs.
Welcome to Linux in Laws, Season 1, Episode, Martin?
72,926.
Are you sure? Because I thought we were on 27. No, actually, as a matter of fact, it's 20 million something.
Exactly. Yeah.
This being the Christmas New Year's episode, as tradition has it, we are rolling up the year and probably shedding some predictions on next year.
Next year, yes.
Yes. So that's another funny, interesting, humorous 45 hours,
long.
6 minutes, and 20 seconds ahead of you, if we don't cut this down. So what has been happening? What has been happening in 2022? Given the fact, apart from wars and other shenanigans,
Wars, kingdoms, queendoms.
queendoms,
like
exactly. Yes, deaths, births, the usual, the usual. Yes.
Yes. Are you referring to less mundane subjects?
I am indeed. Yes.
More podcast-related subjects, as well. That way.
Let's start with the interesting thing in terms of a company called D-Wave went public with a SPAC.
Okay.
I think in July. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do tell. How is this relevant?
They do computers, I think, pretty much like IBM or HP, or exactly. The only difference being
other makes are available.
Yes. The only difference being basically
Apple.
that they do quantum computers.
Aha. Okay. What type of quantum computers do they do?
Quantum annealing computers, to be precise. So it's only
we
a
had an
subset.
episode on
Yes,
this. Yeah,
we had exactly.
So if you want to know more about that, yes.
Yes, the beauty is basically, of course, that if you are interested in the details, yes, we did an episode on quantum computing. Depending on the availability of the flux capacitor being released 2021, 22, 23, 20, or 24, depending. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, I mean, jokes aside, it's in
so what's relevant about SPAC? Because there are other quantum computing makers out there already, right? So
the SPAC is just a form, basically, where you take an off-the-shelf company and wrap it up.
So what's important about D-Wave?
Well, D-Wave
compared to other quantum computing companies building.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are pretty cheap. I think the entry model retails at 1.2 million or something. So that's a dead giveaway. That's bottom basement bargains, whatever.
Okay.
Because they only do quantum annealing, I think they're smaller than other quantum computers in terms of you only need a house or two. Not just a whole office.
What about the energy
block
requirements to run these things? Yeah.
I think yes, you do need energy. That's correct. Yes, if memory serves.
Oh, they don't generate energy as well.
No, they don't. No.
That missed the trick there.
But you see, they share that predicament with any other computer on the planet, I reckon.
True. So far.
Of course, the only major difference is actually you have to cool them down to pretty much close to something called 0 Kelvin.
What, the D-Wave stuff?
Yes. At the very core.
Okay.
Details are actually...
So which is why some of the other solutions are better, really, aren't they?
Yeah, well, not really, no. But I mean, details are actually... The technical details, why and how and so forth, are actually in the quantum episode.
Okay.
But...
Yes, they are.
Oh,
yes, we had... Who did we have on the show?
I can't remember, actually.
We did.
Yes.
A very knowledgeable person on the subject, and his name was
Simon Cross.
Yes,
as it happens.
Indeed.
But checking our flux capacitor parameters. That episode actually will be released, I think, in March of next year. So stay tuned. And consider that to be a teaser.
Yeah.
Going back to your question, actually, the main use case is actually, rather than kind of deploying 1 trillion computers in a cloud as in other people's computers, you only have to use one quantum annealing computer to tackle a certain set of algorithms.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. It's a very specific set of use cases it covers, right?
Yes.
So it's not general computing.
No, exactly. Yes. But in contrast to quite a few cloud instances, for some use cases, a quantum computer might be the better fit. As I said, details in an upcoming episode.
Okay. So anything else you wanted to mention on
D-Wave? Nope.
Apart from the fact that you bought half the company.
SEC full disclosure, Martin is lying. And no, I didn't buy half of D-Wave.
Oh, was it 80%?
No, it wasn't. Far less, actually.
Okay, fair enough.
And way below any SEC disclosure requirements, as it so happens.
Sensible, very sensible, yes. Tandy top tip, keep it below SEC requirements.
Exactly. Okay, what else was there in 2022?
Ooh,
Python, with release Python 3.10.
Well, Python existed well before 2022, of course.
Of course, yes. But no, I mean, one of the prejudices or biases has always been that Python is slow.
Yes. Well,
Given,
I mean, as we cover Python in an episode? We had the debate.
We had the panel.
We didn't cover Python
we didn't.
Such. But there's definitely ways to speed it up with all sorts of libraries. And
for example, you can port it.
All kind of stuff
You can port it to a D-Wave, and then it gets really fast.
Yes.
If you don't have a D-Wave, people don't worry about it. You can kind of switch to
buy one from Chris.
Nice one. No, I do not sell D-Waves.
Yes.
If you wanna buy a D-Wave, please get in touch with sales at D-Wave.com or whatever it's called these days. I don't know. Anyway, but thanks for interrupting, Martin.
You're welcome.
No, the point that I was making about 3.10 is actually, as you will see from the change logs, if you bother to take a look at the logs, Guido and friends, as in the core dev, started to make serious changes.
I thought Guido was retared.
No, he still works at Microsoft.
No, he said he was retired. Okay.
Yeah, but he came out of retirement.
He came out of retirement?
Yes. Details will not be in the show notes. Yes. No, Guido and the guys, especially other core devs, start to make serious changes.
Girls, yes, we're not racist, sexist.
Exactly. Yes. Other core devs. Yes.
We had this discussion the other day, but guys is a generic term for people.
Yes, indeed. Started to make serious changes in CPython, especially with regards to memory mention and other performance critical elements of that implementation.
Excellent.
So if early benchmarks are anything to go by...
Benchmarks? Do we have show notes for this?
We do not yet, no.
Not yet. That's a shame.
But links will be in the show notes. But the real breakthrough apparently is expected for 3.11, which will probably debut early 23. You can get beta versions right now. If you want to max yourself out, clone the stuff from GitHub.
And why do people need to do this?
If they are obsessed with performance and want to use Python.
Okay. Well, as an example here, according to the docs, it's 10 to 60% faster, 3.11 than 3.10. So
depending on the use case, yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's fairly significant indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very good. That's some excellent news there.
Yes, very much so. So, Martin, anything from your side?
Oh, yes.
In 2022.
So there was a recent, let's say, research done in the state of open source software in 2022, which had some slightly unexpected, for me anyway, results. Like, what do you think the number one reason is for people to use open source software?
It's free.
No,
they don't have to pay money for it.
No. So this is.
They are communists who believe in open source software ideas.
So
And anything else that the report tells you is obviously wrong.
it's not a report; it's a survey, right? So
Same thing.
they have asked people. Anyway,
That can be rigged as well.
it
So
can be, yes. Well,
no worries.
It's a bit like an election, indeed. Yes. But anyway, but the number one reason was innovation rather than
Innovation?
Yeah,
In open
cost.
source, where? That can't be serious.
Maybe they were looking at the wrong projects. Yeah. Asked the wrong people, clearly. Yeah.
No, of
Yeah.
course they do have a point with that rationale behind using open source.
Mm.
Did they go into details why people think that is the most driving factor when using open source
It's
software?
it's the number one reason to use or adopt open source software for
Innovation.
for the according to the respondents, yes, rather than, as you say, the cost.
As I said, do they go into details?
Yeah.
As in why that is the case, or the perception is actually if you want to have innovation, use open source software, because you can take a look at the source code, or why?
No, not because you can look at the source code, because you should know the answer to this.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. No, I know the answer, but I'm just wondering what the survey had to say on this.
Well, one would hope that the survey had the same. Otherwise, it wouldn't be very good, really, would it? But
So there are no details given in that survey. Just
There are,
It's
there
just
are, but
one
you can read it
number.
if you want
Okay,
to.
fair enough.
would you like me to find out?
No, it's no. What is number 2 then?
Number 2?
As in reason for using open source. You didn't read the report, no? Or survey.
I have it available.
Okay, fair enough.
Bear with me.
The awkward
It's-
silence that will be cut out.
Feel free to cut out silences.
I will do, yes.
Okay.
Or post,
Okay.
or the post. I will instruct the post production team to do so. Yes.
Right, so you want to know number 2 as well.
3 and 4 and 5 as well. Yes, but in your own
No problem,
time.
no problem. There's no rush. Okay. So, the answer is 42, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, according to something else, it was 37, which I don't know where that came from, but that's...
42 isn't the prime. 37 is. So that can't be right.
Yes. That's a curious one. I don't know where the 37 came in, but it was a reason. Yeah, so where were we?
Second reason for using open source software.
Second
Yes.
reason, yes.
It's cost.
Well, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes. Do you want to know the third one as well?
Yes, I do.
Technology modernization, stack modernization, right? So makes
That
sense.
sounds like a cheap marketing statement.
It does. It does. Well, I mean, with any surveys, you just get a bunch of tick boxes, right?
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, and the continuous release patch cycle that open source is very good at, as you say, with code control and stuff like that. So
More eyeballs to the game.
indeed.
Okay.
So other notables from this survey. What about what do you think the number one barrier to adopt open source software is?
Innovation. I'm
Cost,
joking.
cost.
I'm joking. Probably lack of technical expertise when deploying this stuff.
Yeah, very good. Well done.
Really? Okay, fair enough. No, I didn't read that survey. No.
No.
In case
you have been around open source software for a
For a
while,
week-
right? So we
for a week or 2, yes.
peddling NoSQL shenanigans.
Funny that
As an
actually
example.
this is why I met Mr. Vista in the first place.
Yes. Well, they claimed they had a database when I joined. Anyway,
I think they still do.
let's not go there. Yes, so it's quite a... Yeah, that was the most noticeable one for me.
And what's the second barrier then? What's the second barrier?
One that's less important than the first.
Excellent, Mr. Vista, excellent. We're making progress indeed.
First comes number one.
Yes. Very good.
Right, okay. You want to know number 2 as well.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking, no?
Right, so blah blah blah. Okay, actually, by the way, the difference between number 1 and 2 is only a few percent. So,
Okay.
in terms of the the reasons to use 44 and 37. So, and then, so in the barriers section, interesting. You can have it broken down by geography as well if you want to, but we don't want to go
just
there.
the reason will be fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's have a look for you. This is actually let's do another Q&A before we move on to the barrier bit. What do you think the most used Linux is in the respondents' response?
So who did their survey would be my counter question. As in small, medium-sized business, enterprise, like companies, individuals.
You want to know the breakdown of the?
Before I answer that question, yes, I do.
Just have a guess.
Linux from scratch.
Not on the list, strangely. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Number one is Ubuntu. Number two is Debian, which is surprising.
Well, I mean,
CentOS third, Red Hat fourth.
That smells really like enterprise deployments. Because that would be the typical distributions you would find in a company beyond a certain size.
Okay. Yeah, that bloody OpenStack is still nice. What the hell?
Or they constrained themselves, or they limited themselves to telecom companies, as in telecom companies on the brink of, what's the word I'm looking for? Chapter 11, to use the American term.
Another fun fact: new Linux distributions like Rocky, Alma, and Navy, they made a huge increase.
No surprise there. I mean, if you pull the plug from one of the major Linux enterprise distributions, CentOS comes to mind, IBM, if you're listening, that people flock to different shores is really understandable. For details, please listen to the Alma/Rocky episode.
Yes.
That we did
what
some
about
time ago.
Navy Linux? Do we know anything about this?
We don't.
Is this Linux running on chips? Or?
I do not know. Details may not be in the show notes.
Indeed. Right. So you wanted to know number two?
Yes. Coming back to my question, yes, indeed.
Yes. There was just some. Right.
I'm waiting.
Installation upgrades and configuration issues. Keeping updated with patches.
People do not know how to work a keyboard. Is that it? Okay, fair enough.
Well, as you know, most people don't like keyboards. They just like, well, not most people. Let's say more. Yeah, less technology inclined people like to use GUIs and mice, don't they, rather than keyboards and CLIs. But there we go.
I thought that was what exterminators are for, to get rid of mice. No. There's some pest control.
Yes. Indeed.
Well, they weren't doing a pretty good job, were they?
They weren't. Okay. So anyway, that's enough of that, I think, because
fair enough.
We covered the most important part of that.
Martin. Of course,
yes.
2022 was, of course, the year where a jammy jellyfish made its debut.
Oh, okay.
And of course, I'm talking about the 2204 release of something called Ubuntu. So without further ado, let's take a look at the changelog.
Okay.
To get a hold of the riveting changes that 2020...
This is for the people that have trouble sleeping.
The
Especially for you.
2204 introduced. So let's take a look. So it's upgrading now. So for example, they upgraded the upgrade systemd to version 249.11. OpenSSL is now upgraded to the version 3.0. No, it's getting even more interesting.
Ooh.
mlocate has been replaced with plocate. Indeed.
What happened to nlocate in that case? How can you go from M to P?
Well, it's still
skipping N altogether. That's not fair, is
it's still the. I think if memory serves correct, it's still the default locate package for upstream Debian, but Ubuntu decided go to, but just to be different, decided to go for plocate. No, jokes aside, if memory serves correct, plocate is a newer code base. Details may or may not be on GitHub.
Most likely they are. But
yes. Also, Canonical has woken up to the fact that NFTables is now the new kid on the block. So, with regards to security improvements, NFTables is now the default backend for the firewall.
Sorry, say it again. What is?
NFTable is now the default backend for the firewalls.
Right,
yes,
yeah, well.
it only took Canonical about 5 years to wake up to that fact.
Okay.
I think.
So this is from 2204.
This
onwards. Right.
This is 2204,
Yeah.
which is also an LTS, by the way.
Ah.
It's an important bit. So it will be supported 5 years or something. But now we're getting even to more riveting changes.
Yes. Go on.
The desktop introduces now 10 color choices.
Ooh.
Yes.
What are they?
in dark and light styles. It doesn't. The changelog doesn't say.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, it's not 10 colors. So times 2, it's 20 actually, because you can get it in dark and light styles. That's riveting.
It's yes.
And now for the really interesting juicy bit, Firefox.
Firefox. What's
similar-
that to do with Ubuntu?
Let me finish.
Okay. I'm listening.
Firefox, similar to Chrome, is now available only as a snap.
Right. Yeah.
Well, quite a few people that are outside a door of Canonical with pitchforks are, apparently. No.
No, this is their default. Way
Well,
to
you see, the thing is basically
release
yes,
stuff. So if you don't like it, use a different OS.
indeed.
No.
But some people find it quite concerning.
Disconcerting
Concerning. Yes.
or concerning.
That move, because it's somewhat bound to Canonical, as in snaps are. Plus the fact it introduces another layer of complexity, as we saw with the Chromium debacle, for want of a better expression. So, details may have up in the show notes. There was quite some discussion in the community if that's the right way, and quite a few people that I know personally actually abandoned Ubuntu for that reason. Not just 2204, but generally speaking, because they don't like snaps.
They don't
Okay.
like snaps. Why
They
don't
don't like
they like snaps?
Because it's just more cumbersome. For example, if you want to move a profile from one machine to another, you actually have to go into the sandbox that is inside the Squash file system, because snaps bring their own. Well, I'm not saying userland, but bring their own compressed file system with them.
Yeah.
So if you want to extract something out of that file system, you have to enter that sandbox. So you
That
can't
sounds
simply
pretty pointless.
exactly. So you can't really copy a profile from a machine to another by simply copying something in .mozilla Firefox profile or whatever the folder is. Now you actually have to take apart the SquashFS file system that comes with the snap and extract the information from there.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And which exactly, and this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. And so, if you're doing that frequently, as in migrating between different machines or something like that, that's cumbersome. And I see that point.
Yes. All right. So, in short, if you're listening, Canonical, get rid of snaps. Nobody likes them.
Well, I see the point why people wouldn't like them. Yes. Other improvements include Ruby, which is now at version 3.0, which is actually a major achievement because IRB has really gotten very supportive and easy to use. For those people like Martin who do not know what Ruby is.
I know what it is. I just don't use it.
No, IRB is actually one of the...
comes along the lines
Yeah.
of Sapphires and stuff like that, isn't it?
IRB is actually the repo that allows you to kind of get going with Ruby, and that's really fancy these days. And that came, I think, with version 3 or 3.01 or something like that. So it's, in contrast to version 2, it's really usable. And for those people who use Ruby...
Oh, I thought you were going to say for those people who are still awake. Yeah. Carry on.
That's one. Yeah, for these people who are still awake. Martin is apparently is between these two groups at this very moment. Anyway, the language has introduced quite a few improvements with version 3. Details are, of course, in the changelog of that GitHub project.
Good.
And I think before Martin even really falls asleep, we should leave it at that with 2204.
Okay. No, that's actually good stuff.
I mean, I thought
were you hoping for some bigger changes in 22.4?
No. I mean, they're as riveting as they are. No.
Okay. No, that's
Fair enough.
There's nothing missing there. That's good.
I mean, there's more security improvements, but I will include a link in the show notes. So people, if you really can't get to sleep, read the change logs.
It's a bit tricky, isn't it?
Hey,
reading and sleeping
I'm
at the same
just
time.
seeing that actually, Martin, Postgres has been upgraded to what version? In
What do you mean
22.4?
upgraded? In 24.
Yes.
Oh, go on, tell me.
Have a guess.
What, 10?
No, it's actually 9.5. No, the changelog speaks about 14.2.
Okay. No, that's sensible.
That's
good,
the most
good.
recent version,
Good.
no?
Yeah, because the likes of CentOS and stuff, they were always years behind, right? With those releases.
I think.
15 is coming out, obviously.
Yeah.
15 will be out. Is it out this year?
Okay.
No,
I think
they normally release the major in around November time, so which is.
I think Bullseye introduced 14 with the latest upgrade too.
Okay.
Isn't Debian Bullseye?
Well, 14.2 is clearly not the latest, but yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. It's not 14.
Has
14.0 at least.
Has 15 been released?
15 is
beta or something?
No. The GA release of the major release always comes out in November. So
does it? Okay.
So they have a yearly release cycle for majors. So
okay.
15 will be in November 2022, or has been
depending
on time of recording
and time of listening. Exactly.
Yes, time of listening. Yes.
Okay.
Time of listening. Yes.
So what else did happen last year, or you're rather in 22? Exactly.
Well, I thought the let's change it again before we get on to that one. The Securing Open Source Software Act was passed in the US.
Okay, I'm listening.
Well, apparently it's one of the one acts that both the Democrats and the Republicans can agree on. I can hear you're excited.
Sorry, Martin, you were saying what? So, almost for a split second there, I thought I was asleep. Martin, do tell.
We can cut this out. It's not.
We won't.
Why is this relevant?
Yes, Martin, do tell, please.
Well, why do you think it's relevant?
Because I can't get to sleep, and when I read this, I am falling asleep. So that helps with my subliminal insomnia, probably.
You have insomnia, okay.
Well, not anymore.
No, it's clearly been cured. Well, if anything, we are the insomnia curing podcast.
Excellent.
We should rename ourselves.
Keep listening, yes. You can get us with or without prescription.
Good idea.
No, going back to this riveting report, Martin, please do tell.
It's not a report, it's an act, right?
It's an act, yes.
A law, yes. So when a government puts a law around open source software, I think that's fairly significant.
You lost me when you said that this was supported by both parties, as in Republicans and Democrats, as in commies and right-wing people.
Yes. In short, they both agree on something that is important, right?
Indeed.
In their eyes. Well, not just in their. But it comes back to the discussion that we had many times around the funding of open source software and security issues, etc., which we have highlighted a few times. Projects being run by people in basements, etc., and not being paid for it, spare time, etc., etc.
True.
Which this bill was it was a reaction to the Log4j vulnerability, which had a similar issue. So rather than going forwards, finding out what the next vulnerability is going to be that is not being looked after properly, or let's say can be prevented, they decided to pour some money into this, which is
fair
good.
enough. So for a change, that's taxpayers' money well spent.
Yeah,
apparently. Excellent progress.
So I thought that was quite a nice, let's say, start of a change for open source software, right? Where it's not just let's just let people do what they like and not pay them. And
So plus the fact
deal with the fallout at some point.
that apparently politicians for a change can draw conclusions from mistakes being made, which is rarely the case. Come to think of it. No? Yes? Maybe?
Politicians.
Donald, if you're listening, this is for you, yeah? Right? and other fine politicians in the US and elsewhere.
Yeah, he had some personal problems, let's put it this way, this year, didn't he? With
Did he know?
various bits of paper that he shouldn't have had. That's all.
Oh, you mean the raid?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Not to mention the financial shenanigans, which are not entirely above board, apparently. But anyway, all will be revealed at some point. I'm
Or
sure.
not,
All
depending.
revealed, yeah. They'll be ending up in some court, yeah. Enough of politics.
No,
What
no,
about...
no. Hang
Oh,
on, before we move
Oh.
on. Whatever happened to these various impeachments?
what
Do you
happened
know? Trump was impeached at least twice.
to- Yeah.
Do you know what the status is?
No.
I mean, because if one of these impeachments comes through,
Hmm.
he can't run for president again.
Wow. I'm sure he can find a way. Yeah.
No.
He'll,
He would have the whole of the US Constitution against him.
he'll just get the country to storm Capitol Hill again, won't he? That's the way.
That would be a reason for a third impeachment, no? Maybe even more. I don't know.
Well, there's not much to impeach you if you just
I mean, you
remove
can't
all
just-
the people in
Yeah, but I mean, you see,
organisation.
the one thing you cannot circumvent is actually the US Constitution. So
Well, you can if you get rid of the people that run the Constitution, like they tried to do, right?
yeah, but I mean, changing it would require a qualified majority in both houses.
Yes, but the point being that if you remove all the people from these houses, then it's irrelevant, right? You can impeach all you want, and if nobody's running these houses anymore, then
Yeah, but I mean, if there are people around, you cannot change the Constitution because you have no voting body. See my point? I mean,
but my point being,
So
that
the Constitution
if you
stays the way it is.
storm the Capitol Hill with a bunch of hooligans and just take over these places, then there is no voting or laws being made, etc., etc.
if history is anything to go by, they failed the first time around.
They did, yeah.
As in, not the kind of the original first time, but the recent first time. Because I'm dead sure that there have been multiple attempts to storm the White
I
House.
see what you mean,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, well,
Back in the olden
we're
times.
talking about the Trump one,
Exactly.
the orchestrator one, yes.
So let's pray. Is that the expression that I'm looking for? That one of the impeachments may go through? I don't know.
Yes.
No, and Donald, if you're listening, do not get in touch, please.
Yeah. Can we impeach Vladimir as well? So,
No, we can't because he's
a
not a US president yet.
that would be quite a nice, a better use of time. Let's put it that way. Anyway, right.
Okay,
is
moving
that
on.
the end of the politics
Yes.
podcast? Or?
Yes. No, it is. It's not. It's not. We're going to revisit that
Okay.
in about
We're
5
gonna
minutes' time. Yes.
revisit more politics. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
What about
No, going back to much safer
Audacity?
grounds.
Yes.
Exactly. Audacity, yes.
What
Released.
happened? What happened?
Yeah, released version 3.1 or something.
Well,
and as we
surely
all know,
3.0 comes first, no?
yeah, but I think they released that the year before. Before that, before.
Okay.
But one of the major changes is actually the storage format changed from a subdirectory to a SQLite database.
You mean the project storage format? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sorry. Yes. If you store a project in Audacity, it used to be a directory hierarchy, which was cumbersome to transfer and all the rest of it.
Well,
And it's now a single.
tar is not compass.
Yeah, but you have to tar it first, and then you have to compress it, and that's all
You
shenanigans.
can compress them at the same time when you use tar.
But you still have to do something with it.
Okay, carry on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Handy top tip. Yeah.
Okay.
Use tar with
Details
Z, then
may
you
in
can compress
the
it.
show notes. Yes. No, it's actually now a handy single file SQLite database.
Okay.
Heavily also compressed because apparently, if my personal experience is anything to go by, that I got from the post-production team at something called Linux In-Laws, is actually compression.
What's the name of this post-production team?
It's called post-production team.
Do they have names, these people?
No, they do, but hang on, you are running HR, no? You should know them.
No.
I mean, you hired them, right? So
I fire HR. Don't hire HR. Anyway.
no, I mean, you took over after firing HR the human resources function, though, so you should know these names.
I suppose I could look them up in our HR system.
If it's to them, yes. If it's to them, if it's not, you can't. Come on, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
But the post-production people are quite pleased with that change, actually. So, because if they want to if they now want to copy or move audio files around, they only have to move one file and don't have to tar this up first.
Okay.
Major improvement. Plus, the compression is way better than before, apparently.
Okay. What about the new analyzer? Have you tried that?
analyzer, as in content analyzer, as in the nonsense that we talk, that this that Audacity can cut it out automatically. Or what?
Sophisticated. You can label sounds and silences, stuff like that.
Yes,
apparently.
but I think you could do
Does it
that
work?
starting with. I never tried it actually.
No, I can't. Well, they said they improved.
Maybe we should ask.
They said they improved it. Yeah.
Maybe we
Did
should.
we ever have someone on Audacity on the no?
No. But maybe we should ask the post-production team, because I can only go by what they tell me.
Ah, and so what did they tell you?
That they haven't used it.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe they should try it.
Maybe
What are they doing all this time?
Working,
What are we
working.
paying these people for?
Martin, they work. They cut out your most prevalent, your most visible mistakes.
Okay,
for example.
maybe they should use some automation to do this.
And that keeps them quite busy, apparently.
Exactly. Use automation. Cut the podcast down from 4 hours to 5 minutes in no time.
Okay, going back to much safer on
Yes.
semi-politics.
Okay.
No, what's next? What we should discuss now?
Well, I guess
Audacity.
what about? Oh, you wanted to talk about Thunderbird?
Thunderbird, yes, Thunderbird. Thunderbird, if you're listening, please get in touch with Jörg Knobloch of Betterbird fame for a reason.
So, what's Betterbird?
Yeah, Betterbird is
Is that
actually
like a
fork.
large chicken, or-
Well, it's not a fork, but rather it's a set of patches trying to remediate the most.
Hang on a minute. So, how can it be not a fork if they are patching in a different project
Because they're just providing patches.
to Thunderbird?
Yes.
So, it's not a project of its own.
Well, it's just a set of patches
Yeah.
addressing the most prevalent
Okay.
mistakes.
Fine. Right. Okay. It's so not fork. Right. Okay.
And
Carry on. Yeah.
so-
Got it. Yep.
So, as for those two people in the listenership who don't know what I'm talking about, with the version, I think 97, 98, and maybe 96, quite a few mistakes, errors, flaws, whatever you want to call it, found their way into the code base. Threading would be one example. So, actually, I think Jörg isn't a core dev, but he has been associated with Thunderbird as a contributor for quite some time. Decided to take action and provide an additional level of regression testing that would eliminate the most prevalent errors, and threading would be very high on that list as a result. Apparently, it's a drop-in solution as a replacement for Thunderbird. It's very high on the list of things to check out,
Okay.
but I expect major improvements there.
They call themselves Thunderbirds on steroids, apparently.
Yes.
So, with
Details-
new features as well, apparently.
Okay, I only know about this patch set. So
yeah,
let's
no,
see.
you're right. Yeah,
Okay.
The patching is one of the.
Details of course will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
For those people who still use Thunderbird.
Well, if you're looking for a multi-line view, then Betterbird is your option. For
There you
example.
go. Yes.
Just an example. Anyway. Okay. Anything else on Thunderbird? Or
No, not really.
No.
We should probably tackle something called the crypto winter. No,
Crypto Winter or Decline in Tech?
let's go for the crypto winter first.
Okay. Sure.
Because we only have 4 hours left. I think.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes,
doesn't matter. So, Martin, tell us
Yeah.
about your crypto shenanigans before we get into the crypto winter. How much money did you lose in the first place? Just the odd 10 million? Being an Ethereum miner?
I think if you mine Ethereum on my scale, you would take probably millions of years to get to a million. But anyway,
This is the official version for the tax authorities in the UK, people. The truth may slightly be different.
anyway,
Be slightly different, exactly.
Talking about Ethereum, the merge happened. Did it not?
Yes, do tell about the merge and the details and the implications and stuff.
The merge happened beginning of September, finally, where they moved from proof of work to proof of stake.
You probably should explain for the people who missed out on the crypto on the cryptocurrencies episode that we did last year, or this year rather, what the difference is and why this is important.
Okay, so
Please, for example,
I can do this very short.
Yeah,
Just,
just-
on, yeah.
just please explain what a POW and what a POS is and what the
Okay.
difference
Proof
is.
of work is really a computational task, typically based on hashes to confirm the blocks on the chain.
Mm-hmm.
So highly compute intensive, uses a lot of power, and this is what the large crypto farms use to do. Not just for Ethereum or Bitcoin. They all have There are many of these types of cryptocurrencies that use this method, right, to validate.
So people living around Birmingham, if your lights go out, you know now why that is the case.
Well, actually, there was a story in the news that some guy was tunneled a hole through his neighbour's wall and was using his electricity to run crypto.
Some people would call that stealing.
Yes, indeed.
Which is still illegal.
He was found out anyway.
Okay.
Not a problem.
So, in contrast to POW, what is now proof of stake as a POS?
Proof of stake, right. So instead of that, staking means you have a stake of Ethereum. In this case, 32. So not a small amount. I mean, there's staking pools as well, right? So you could join a pool if you want to just contribute one P of Ethereum.
What is the difference between POS from a technical perspective?
No, the whole computational aspect is gone.
Okay.
So
replaced with the investment.
Yes. So as a stakeholder, you get to take part of voting.
Hence the name. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So obvious advantage, right? You don't need the huge outlay, which is the biggest criticism in energy costs on cryptocurrencies, is that it's using all this energy for what, really?
Okay.
Apart from people making money, clearly, by mining stuff. So going back to the crypto winter piece, how much did you lose?
Nothing so far.
So you haven't sold anything.
Exactly. That's the point.
But yes, in general, there has been a decline in the value of cryptocurrencies across the board.
Yes, starting early 2021, 22.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like Bitcoin is less than half now, isn't it? Same for Ethereum, actually.
Yes. I mean, it peaked at, I think, last year a year ago. I mean, as November, October 2021 at 65, and now in early October 2022, it's
around 20.
It used to, exactly. It used to clock in at 19, maybe 18,500.
So more than half more.
What do you think are the reasons for this? Apart from people finally sussing out the swindle.
That's one of them. The other one is, in my opinion, the fact that it was starting to be institutionalized for people to use their money as well. So no longer, the big investment companies. It's the same like gold, right? You can put your money in gold, you put your money in silver, you put your money in crypto, wherever you want to put it. It's somewhere to put your money where you think it is going to look after itself despite inflation or whatever it is, right? It's about where do you put your money to keep it safe. And clearly the economic situation has changed a lot. That this ties in with the next subject, which is the general decline in tech. Right, stock prices are gone half, so stock prices are no longer a safe place to put your money. There is a large amount of inflation going on, as in figures are around 10% and stuff like that. Right, so with that comes interest rate rises. So therefore,
indeed, you're
better off having cash rather than putting it into more volatile.
So the people to blame are Vladimir, are the national banks, Trump, of course, because he's always to blame.
He's always to blame. Yes,
exactly.
Yes, agreed.
Lizzie is dead. Lizzie is dead.
I don't think she had any cryptocurrency, but I could be wrong.
Well,
she just had a lot of land
and
and other investments. Yeah.
In theory, the Royal Mint was reporting to her, no?
Sorry, say again?
In theory, the Royal Mint was reporting to her because she was the head of state.
Yes, but that doesn't mean she got any money for it.
No, that's not what I'm saying, but she could rig the whole thing. But we shouldn't probably talk about her.
Seems unlikely. Yeah. Let's put it that way. But you may know, may not.
Not if you ask the people behind Trump. That's a separate issue.
But I mean,
the lizard people, exactly.
Clearly, there was a the reason why did the prices go up so much in the first place, right? Because
people wanted to buy the stuff.
Yeah, why did people want to buy the stuff?
because they thought it might be a good investment.
So that's, well, one of them, people thought it might be good. Yes, okay, if you put it that way, that's one way of doing it. Investment to... But there's two things, right? One is investment to try and increase your value of your portfolio, or one is to keep it safe, right? Like the big institutions.
True.
So, but yeah, when then people start pulling out of that. So, decline in tech then?
Yes.
What has happened to tech stocks?
They halved, if not more, in value.
Why? Do tell.
Because people finally found out that this IT thing is just a big swindle. Like a Ponzi scheme, that sort of thing. And you're absolutely spot on.
I see.
You heard it here first.
So Chris no longer wants a job in tech, by the way. He's happily retired.
Exactly. Unlike Martin, who still works for an IT company.
Well, actually, his share price has increased because some...
Thanks to Martin Visser, exactly.
Well, yes, that clearly...
That goes without saying.
Without
Exactly,
saying, yes.
yes.
But yeah, aside from that fact, some Nutter decided to think it's a good idea to combine a chip maker with, with a software company.
Oh, that was you, okay. Fair enough.
No, I had some different advice, which wasn't followed
Okay.
up, clearly, otherwise.
I mean, jokes aside, I mean... There are people who say that the tech market was overvalued anyway. I get that angle, fair enough. But on the other side, we're facing troubled times. If the economy, if the economy, people are anything to go, but we're heading for a recession. Fair enough. I can see that right on the wall. Yes,
right?
yes.
It's simple as that.
The beauty is basically that if some macro economists are anything to go by, recessions come in waves and troughs, and so does the next big hike. Is around the corner. It's just a question when. Needless to say, starting a war with the following sanctions, especially in the energy market, didn't exactly help matters.
Yeah, I mean,
this is the global
war
situation, right?
Clearly
So
didn't help with the inflation scenario and the prices of,
No.
of fuel and so on, which then has a knock-on effect on the price of food and the price of
Exactly.
everything. Right? It's
and the trouble is, of course, computers, and if you have quite a few of them, do need energy, and quite a lot, depending on the number of computers that you use.
and what you do with them, yes.
So if you have ideas about building a computer that doesn't need energy, now would be an excellent time to market this idea.
Well, it's called an abacus now. Doesn't need any energy at all.
Yes, but I think that has slightly fallen by the ways due to mostly, I think, performance issues. And scalability, yes.
It may take a bit longer to achieve the same result. Indeed. But yeah, to your point, back in September, there was 1 week where $500 billion of value was wiped off the tech stocks, right? It's,
They will rebound, but it'll take some time.
yes. Yes. But yeah, as you say, almost everybody has halved. Mongo, Confluent,
Yes.
you name it. VMware being the exception because of the upcoming impending takeover. But yeah.
Yes, and by no means this should be considered an investment advice. Whether you want to shorten or lengthen your investment, just don't listen to us discussing this. Simple as that. Full disclosure, as usual.
So just out of if just a question for you. So which companies do you think had the biggest decline in this if we think about the Alphabets, the Metas, the Apples, who are the biggest loser in this game?
Trump Incorporated, for a reason.
Does he have a company?
I think there's more than one.
Is he in tech?
Yes, he is. He has this social.
Does he have a large amount of Russian employees, by any chance?
Well, he does. Yes, he has this platform called Social Truth, or whatever it's called.
You're joking.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Details on the show notes. No, I mean he got off Twitter, right? He got banned from Twitter, so he decided to set up his own social media platform.
He didn't try and buy Twitter.
No. That was somebody else. We get to that in a minute.
Right, that's a mistake, isn't it?
So he set up his own company called Social Truth. I think that is the name.
Okay.
By ripping off not Mastodon but something else, and being caught in the act because that software was licensed under GPL and they failed to publish the changes. No, seriously. I mean, I think there's a pending law case about this.
Okay, nice.
Details may up in the show notes. But no, actually Trump with that company alone, and he wanted to float this.
He did. There was actually a SPAC. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but this is crap. Forget about it. I mean, Martin, if you take one advice from me this year, don't buy. Simple. Don't do it.
I have no intention.
Excellent. Okay.
To do this. Thank you for the advice, but
no. So that clearly has failed, will fail, is failing anyway. But yes, so Trump is officially intact.
Did he? Did that actually float on this company?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
And it's unlikely that if they will ever float, because even with SPACs, you have certain regulatory compliance requirements. And I'm happy to assume that hopefully that company won't meet these requirements.
Okay, so if we ignore this highly marketable company and focus back on the big players.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I reckon that the big ones lost, like IBM, like Apple, like Microsoft, whatever. I don't know.
Which of the bigger ones lost more than others? Have a guess.
Apple, maybe. I don't know. Microsoft, IBM?
Apple, Microsoft are one of the lower ones. They are in the 5% range, similar to Alphabet. Amazon, 7%. Meta and Nvidia are the biggest ones with close to 10% loss of value.
That's quite understandable because Nvidia was selling a lot of kit to crypto miners and friends.
They were.
So no surprise there.
Well, the whole going back to the crypto winter, the rising energy costs are obviously making it considerably less profitable. Together with declining prices, I'm sure the amount of...
Vladimir, if you're listening, Mr. Putin, word of advice, stop that war immediately, because otherwise you will have a flash mob in front of the Kremlin of crypto miners being very angry.
Well, you say that, but from his point of view, he may be doing all right, investing in crypto miners on his cheap energy that he's pulling out of the ground. So... He's cleverer than you think.
If he still has the time to enjoy the fruit of that labor, yes. There may be forces actively working on the opposite. You never know.
Oh, do tell.
No, I can't.
No, that's a shame. Okay. Yes, so go back to declining tech. Yes, likely to happen for a while, right? It's not going to change anytime soon with the economic situation.
Exactly. I mean, the world economy has to pick up first. After that, we will see some changes, I suppose.
Any enlightenment on changes there?
That would be insider trading. No, I can't.
Should we mention D-Wave again?
This is not an investment advice podcast.
It's not?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Fair enough. No, it isn't.
No, it's not, actually. It's the Insomnia podcast.
Exactly. So if you can't get to sleep, listen on.
Well, Martin, that was a lot of content that we have covered so far. Is there anything that we haven't covered before the year's over?
Well, there's been a bit of a rise in the usage of Mastodon, if I'm not mistaken.
I wonder what that is.
Well, something to do with the nutter who is running Twitter now, I guess. That'd be my guess, but I could be wrong.
We should probably explain for the two listeners who haven't been following the story what the crack is.
Okay.
You want to take the lead on this one, or?
Well, there's been. Yeah, well, I think So Elon bought Twitter or whatever he did. He's now running Twitter, and he then disabled all the or he let all the mad people back on, and then all of a sudden that was no longer a good idea, so he banned them again and all that kind of stuff. So all a bit of a debacle, and he fired a lot of staff and so on.
This is the kind of 7,405.
And they had to work like 24 hours a day as well, something like that.
Okay, I mean, if we take a closer look at a more detailed sequence of
events. Go for it.
So I think Elon Musk was born in 1928, if I recall correctly.
I thought
time travel.
No, I thought he was
afterwards.
Was born on Mars or wherever it is.
No,
so some several centuries ago.
Exactly. No. Yeah. I think he was born in the 70s, I'm not mistaken. He then set up a company with some other people I might add, he joined a company called PayPal because it was a merger of X.com
PayPal,
and
yes.
something else. Exactly. And this is where the moolah comes from. He shortly afterwards.
Well, PayPal was originally an eBay company, no?
Martin, I'm talking about what happened before even the eBay acquisition.
Okay.
Musk set up a company, I think, in 98 or 97. Details may or may not be in the show notes. Musk set up a company in the late 90s called X.com. Hence the SpaceX craze and all the rest of it. And there was a competition of his, exactly, of that company that already had come up with the idea of transferring money via an email address. And then some VCs thought it might be a good idea to join these two companies. Hence, PayPal, as it was then known, and we're talking about 20 years ago, was born. And at some stage, eBay decided to make a bid for it. Now, eBay at the time already had a competing offer in place, but that was not up to scratch from a technical perspective. So that was precisely the reason, among other things, why eBay, or the board of eBay rather, decided to make a bid for something called PayPal. And that's exactly where the money came from originally. Now then, lovely Elon Musk went on to acquire the majority stake in a flailing e-car company called Tesla. Now, he didn't set up the company.
Did he not do SpaceX first?
Not as far as I know. That came later.
No, he founded SpaceX before he started the Tesla.
Are you sure? Because, well, as I said, details will.
I remember it vividly. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because Martin Visser is one of the initial investors behind SpaceX.
Yes.
So, Martin, when are you going to Mars anyway?
Yes. Who knows?
Anytime soon, I wonder.
No, I'm not.
I see. So money well spent in that case. No. To cut a long story short, he got famously rich with Tesla. And this year, as in 2022, he really decided to make a run for Twitter. For reasons unknown, he decided to put the initial bid out in April, I think. Then things really got fucked up. Twitter wanted to check him because of the prenup. I was tempted to say. Twitter wanted to take him to court. That was August, September timeframe, if I recall correctly. And said Mr. Musk already had made an offer for a significant amount of money. I think we're talking about $54 per share. We're talking about, in terms of market cap, we're talking about billions here, people. Needless to say. Okay, long story short.
43, in fact. Yeah.
43 billion, exactly. Thank you, Martin. And needless because of the legal implications alone, never mind the rest of it, he was essentially forced to take over Twitter in October or along these timelines. And that went through the press, and details will not be in the show notes because you simply deploy your search engine of choice and then you have the picture. Because lovely Elon, the day after the acquisition, basically decided to show up at Twitter headquarters with a washing sink in his hand, saying, "Let this sink in." Exactly. Yes. After which he essentially fired half of the staff. And again, after a couple of days after this redundancy act, he decided to send an email to all staff saying, "Now look, if you are not game for long hours, as in really working hard, here's a 3-month severance pay."
Okay. Well, yeah. So I have a question on that. I mean,
Martin, many people do.
What is there to work on? I mean, it's just sending a few characters left, right, and center. Is how much code do you need to write to do that?
Martin, I think it's not as easy. Yeah, well, this is what the users see. But I think at the end of the day, we're talking about a highly redundant, very resilient infrastructure.
Plenty of technology for that. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fine.
Plus some serious moolah to be made from advertisements and corporate sponsors in terms of the likes of VW and other major brands that are pouring millions
Okay,
terms of
so
revenue,
how do people advertise on Twitter? I don't know anything about this.
Martin, just install the app.
But no, thank you.
No, I mean, Martin, no, it's as simple as that. You install the app, you create an account, and then if you're following people, you see personalized ads coming up in your feed.
Great.
That's exactly how it works.
And people use this.
About 23 billion, I think.
Okay. And
So there must be quite a few extraterrestrials using this too. So, extraterrestrial, if you're listening, the email address is sponsored.
Ah, yes. Yeah, they didn't get in touch last time, did they?
Exactly.
Yeah,
In case you want to have something beyond Twitter or something, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, seriously, I mean, this is where the money comes from. Simple as that.
Okay.
Plus these, and after that, things really got weird, let's put it this way, because Twitter had this business model of making some money off the users as well. So you have this blue tick, meaning you are a verified, very important person or something like this. I can't really call the details because I'm similar to Martin. I'm almost using this. Exactly. And then there was some brouhaha about this, and the latest, and we're recording this in December of 2022. Mr. Musk has decided that there are now 3 sorts of ticks: a blue one, I think, a gray one, and some other color.
All right. And not bronze, silver, and gold or something.
No, not really.
You charge more for it. Yeah.
Exactly. And should you be happening, like Martin, I think, is to use an iPhone, things will be even more expensive in terms of subscription, which he's now aiming for. Because as we all may or may not know, Apple is charging through what's it called, Martin? It's not a Play Store, but it's called an App Store. No,
App Store? What about it?
I thought it was something else. No, it's not.
No, Apple has an App Store. Yeah,
exactly. So if current law is anything to go by from Elon Musk's mouth, they are charging a ridiculous amount of money in order for the app to be inside App Store. So
wait. So Apple are charging Twitter for the app to be there. That's clever of them.
Well, exactly. I think Apple is charging about 30% of the revenue making from that is made from that app. And now Elon has finally gotten around to know
start his own app store, isn't he?
No. He's just
Elon, if you're listening, start your own app store.
Exactly. No, and has said, no, look, if you're an Apple user, sorry about this, but we have to charge you more.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Right.
And he's calling and he used to call, sorry, this is about a week old or two, and he used to call Apple a censor and somebody being between him as on Twitter and the world in terms of free speech and all the rest of it. I mean, this guy is quite inventive, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
But apparently it works, well, until I think recently, because now he's not the richest he's not the richest guy in the world anymore. I think LLMV or whatever that French luxury company's CEO is called, Arnaud something, maybe somebody Arnaud.
Okay.
Yes. He has apparently taken over the top spot of being the richest man in the world because apparently luxury goods sell better than cars, Twitter, and all the rest of it. So, monsieur, well done. I'm tempted to say.
Indeed.
Details to on with the show notes, people. This is just before Christmas, but just check out the market cap. Is there anything else we should talk about apart from Vogons, Martians, and Trump? We didn't cover Trump. Ah, yes, Martin. We should cover Twitter. We should cover Twitter alternatives.
Yes, we did mention Twitter alternatives briefly, but yes, carry on. Yeah.
Yes. So if you're fed up with Twitter, people, And I wouldn't blame you if you were. Just check out Mastodon, Diaspora, and some other social networks. Details will be in the show notes. Essentially, Mastodon is a federated social network, pretty much like Diaspora is. In contrast to Twitter, they're all down.
And things like Matrix, right?
Yes. Exactly. So if you are not happy with Twitter anymore, there are plenty of open source alternatives out there. At the end of the day, you're also able to run this on your own server if you choose to do so, in contrast to Twitter, because Twitter, as similar to Google and other vendors, you don't pay for the service, but you are the product. And that's exactly not the case with Mastodon, Diaspora, and all the rest of it. As it's stuff you can host yourself, you have full control, and they are federated, and that's the important bit. So,
this is like,
means
I don't know,
exactly. Go ahead.
4,000 servers or something running.
I think even more than that. Yes.
Along those lines, but as of a few months ago, they were on to about 1 million users, so that's probably risen quite a lot by now. But who knows?
Well done, people out there.
Yes. Well, I mean, if you're if you're into short messages of no particular use, then that's,
very much so. Yes. And people, if you're talking about peer-to-peer messaging, there's also something called the SMS service, SM service, as in short messaging service.
Well, the downside of the SM service is clearly what?
You have to have a mobile phone.
Yeah, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, your wife may find out about the SM angle.
No, more simple than that.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, these okay.
Or your husband, for that matter, because we are politically correct at the end of the day. Maybe not.
So your
enlighten me, please.
Your telco has hold of your SMSs, right?
True. Yes.
Whereas if you run something on a federated service like Mastodon,
yes, but unless you're using something, for example, called Silence, because Silence, as our listeners may or may not know, the app I think is open source, and that provides end-to-end encryption on SMS as in short messages.
Okay.
So every short message you send using this app, at least on an Android phone, is encrypted.
Good.
Details will be in the show notes.
Highly useful for your average drug dealer, yeah.
Or Philandra or whatever. So Alan, if you're listening, if you're fine with Twitter, and if you want to go back to ancient retro technology, Silence is your app. Runs at least on Android, if not on iPhones.
Well, weren't there also some phones that were specifically for those kind of purposes? They came out. I forgot the name of them.
BlackBerry, I think, comes to mind.
No, more specific than that. Yeah, no.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought they had that feature too, as encrypted short messages. I mean,
that is quite possible. I mean, I haven't seen a BlackBerry for 1 million years.
Exactly. I mean, BlackBerry kind of is 20 years old. That's the whole thing. I don't even think that research in motion exists anymore. But details may not be in show notes. You never know.
Yeah. No, there's some specific phones that were came out a few years ago. Highly praised by your average drug dealer and so on. But
Martin, I wouldn't know about this.
Oh, I thought you were the security expert amongst us.
Yes, but I don't deal with drugs.
Ah, okay. Oh, you just take them.
There you go. That's not. You see, this is the bottom line in every police kind of spot check, control, whatever you want to call it. I'm just after an operation. I have to take these. Works every time.
You have quite a few operations.
Yes.
With the long
Very much
rehab
so.
period.
Yes, and much more importantly, if it comes down to mental health, I just give them the URL, linuxinlaws.eu. And if I'm down at the precinct, they check it out and I release immediately, even without a med cert.
Nice.
So people,
Yeah.
you know how to do it. I mean, if you're in trouble, just pull out the URL. Just say you're listening to this on a regular basis. They would release you immediately. But please don't kind of send any lawyer bills our way because we won't pay them in the first place.
Okay. Well, we have to have some sponsoring first anyway, before we can pay anybody.
Exactly.
So, Martin, what do you think is going to happen next year? Apart from hopefully the war ending. Or that war ending. Maybe that's more than one.
There'll probably be a new one, yes.
As there always is. That's the trouble, yes.
As long as, it could potentially be the one in the Far East, right, which might have some considerably bigger
You mean China and Taiwan? Okay. Maybe, maybe not. I hope not, anyway.
Well, yes, you would have not, but it's a possibility.
So it's probably a fair assumption that the floating of the social truths back will fail.
Yes.
If it goes ahead at all.
What about the impeachments? Any
Well,
predictions on that one?
Your guess is as good as mine, I reckon. I mean, if maybe.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I think the as a concept, I think crypto will continue. So I don't see that declining much further.
What about NFTs and the surrounding hype?
What about them?
Yeah, will that rebound too?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
I personally don't understand how we got to that stage, but what do I know?
It's
As I said, we're not an investment.
It's called market theories. I mean, if you have people who want to buy that stuff, and if you have sellers, they meet in the middle, and then NFTs are exchanged against other goods or services, or money, or currencies, but in general.
Yeah.
If you don't have a buyer or a seller, there's no market. Simple.
And there's no value. If there's no buyer.
Exactly.
Correct. Yes. On that subject, what about Redis IPO? Do we expect this next year?
There's a website called Redis.com, and that has an investor relations link.
It does. Oh, really?
Just click on that link and see what it says.
Okay, I think I can imagine what the link says, but
or send a mail to investorrelations@redis.com.
Your opinion, being an ex-Redis employee.
It may or may not float. You never
Really?
know. Yes.
You're joking?
No, I'm not. Redis people, if you're listening, don't get in touch.
So you're not expecting this next year, in other words?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, not me.
Fair enough.
Well, your guess. Give us a guess.
Maybe.
Okay. Right.
Anything else would be considered investment advice, which we're not giving, by the way.
No, it isn't. It's just an opinion.
Fair enough.
We can do opinions.
We can.
But you don't want to have an opinion on the subject.
No,
short.
I don't.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's a shame, but the reason for asking is it's somewhat overdue, no? In a way, because many other organizations did this a lot quicker. The Mongos, the Snowflakes, etc. And Redis are just sort of dithering about for the last 20 years.
How much cash do you need? Just wondering. I'm just asking, that's all. It seems to be quite a lot. If you're so hot on this IPO thing.
With the current rate of inflation, my money is worth like 2p now.
I mean, let's discuss the details offline, but maybe I can do something. Maybe not.
Anyway, would you not agree that it's long overdue?
No comment. Investor relations on Reddit.com, check it out.
Any chance still employed by the financial office of Reddit?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm full disclosure, I'm not, no.
Okay.
I stopped working for Reddit, so
Yes.
your guess is as good as mine. I don't have an inside
It's not about
track.
guesses.
No, I don't know. They may or may not float.
Answer the question.
They may or may not float. Simple as that.
Yes, but you don't think it's overdue?
No. I mean, Martin, to be honest, in these current market conditions, would you float a company? I mean, I'm serious. For a change. I mean, they have gone through
Why
6
not? Why
rounds
not?
of investments
Why not?
because the markets are undervalued.
Yes. But
So you don't float a company.
No. Okay, fine. Markets undervalued, fine, but you're still retaining your shares. So therefore, unless you intend to sell them, it makes no difference when you float, right?
It does.
Because no. So, okay, I'll make it simple for you. Right. So you
Thank
have.
you.
Let's say you got 10 Redis shares, right? No, fine. Redis
I
floats.
wish I would have 10 shares.
Redis finally floats after 20 years of dithering, and
Later, you never know.
your 10 shares are worth $100.
Yes.
Right. Fine.
That makes it a grand. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. You could wait, or as being Redis, you could wait and say, oh, well, we're going to wait until the market is more favourable and my 10 shares are worth $2,000. Fine. But that only matters if you're going to sell them when you float.
Correct. Yes.
Because if you float now and they're worth $1,000, you're not going to sell them. You just wait 10 years. They're going to be $20 anyway. So
much for theory.
yeah. So
What about your market cap?
what about it?
And your market cap actually drives refinancing costs, for example. Simple as that. So if you float a company with a lower, not valuation, but with a lower market cap expectation, your financing costs go up.
So we're talking about profitability and stuff like that.
We're talking about also exit strategies from the existing
Yeah.
investors. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. No. Here is a good answer. Thank you.
You're welcome. You heard it here first. Welcome to the Redis Investment Podcast.
Oh, there's maybe stuff. We got there in the end, people.
Finally, yes.
Okay.
No, Martin, you just tell me how much cash you need and let me see what I can do about it.
It's fine. We're still waiting for Oracle and Jeff to sponsor us, but we'll see.
Yes,
Yes.
that might be a long wait though. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Right. Anything else we can expect to happen next year?
Yes, we probably will see more Rust in the Linux kernel. And I'm not just talking about drivers, but I'm talking about subsystems as modules
It's
and
not really a
whatever.
prediction, no, is it?
Well, it's a trend, right? So
Okay, that's fair enough. Any non-predictable predictions?
what? Non-predictable predictions, okay. It might rain in the UK. That's really fair bet at some stage.
Talking about which, what about the
Global warming.
shower situation in Germany? Are you going to be able to keep warm and clean?
There are showers in Germany, yes.
But
Pretty
will
much
they
like
be
that
able
in
to
the
run without any gas? Or
UK.
do we
I think
do we know?
showers.
Do you have some reserves? Or
I mean, showers in general are stationary.
do we?
They do not run, Martin.
Well, if you don't,
They stay where they are.
If you don't turn them on, they certainly won't be running. No, that's correct.
I think the gas situation is somewhat dire, but not hopeless.
Okay. Well,
What about the UK?
oh, we're fine. Yeah, because
So much for the official line.
all the gas that is coming on ships is all coming via the UK, so we could take a bit here and
So
there.
exactly. So you're back to the old pirating situation. Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, it's probably big business now, isn't it? Imagine how much gas is in the great big tanker. It's going to be.
In that case, it was probably a smart move in that case to leave the EU because otherwise,
I wonder how many listeners we have in Somalia.
not
Anyway,
that
sorry.
many, I reckon.
Just-
Somalians, please get in touch with Martin at. If you're so inclined, if not, don't worry about it.
we can't tell you any location of any gas.
Martin can, but I can't.
No,
Apparently.
you can track all ships online these days, anyway.
I'm dead sure you can. There are certainly websites for this, yes.
Yes.
What about Greta and
Greta?
and global warming and stuff?
What about her? Well,
Predictions, yes, exactly. So
the fact is that in countries like Germany, they're having less showers, they can't turn any heating, so global warming is going to go away. Simply as that.
So thank you for listening to Martin's Misconceptions podcast about Germany and other countries.
So hang on a minute, we just given something that good that's come out of Putin's activities. This isn't all right. We're going to cut this out.
No. Anyway, going back to much safer grounds. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen next year in tech in terms of what are the big breakthroughs apart from D-Wave releasing 3x something?
Yeah, that's already happened, right? So
No, they released 2x,
no,
3x. Did they? I thought there was 2x. Maybe I'm wrong.
don't worry about it.
I think it's probably 4x.
Indeed. So, not
4x has this quantum
It doesn't.
capacitor thing built into it, right?
Yeah,
So,
next year, it's not much is going to happen with that still, right?
you think so?
It's just some niche
What do you think
use
that-
cases.
Do you think that this hype about other people's computers will tend to increase?
It's a good question.
Jeff, if you're listening,
There has been a smallish trend of people reversing this activity because of the costs incurred with using other people's computers.
oh yeah, I mean, if current trends are anything to go by that took place in 2002, I mean, all of the major companies raised their prices, cloud or not.
2002?
Yes, as in
20 years
last
ago.
year,
2022.
2022.
Not
exactly.
2002, yeah.
No.
That
No,
would be 20 years ago,
no.
yes. Okay.
2022, exactly. Because I mean, you had people complain bitterly about their increase in for example, SAP software licensing.
So,
Same goes for Microsoft. Same goes for Google and some other hyperscalers, and most of the hyperscalers actually.
yes. So what can we learn from this, or where have you seen this before?
Well, I reckon it won't stop there because,
Someone
for
called
example,
Larry comes to mind.
exactly. So the prices won't go down anytime soon, and won't go down either in
No,
2023.
The point
No
being that this is one of the biggest
scams.
scams. Yes, biggest. What do you call it? Disadvantages it's even worse than that, right? You wouldn't call it disadvantage. One of the biggest things against Oracle is its lock-in, right? That's what people call it.
True. Yes,
But then we see this now repeated with the hyperscalers.
indeed.
Really.
Yes, on a much broader scale sometimes.
So, anyway,
Anything else that
Anything
we
else?
should predict for next year?
look for next year. Well, we will return to Hacker Public Radio.
No, we won't.
Well, I'm predicting it.
Fair enough. I can tell you the outcome of that prediction.
Oh, you don't know that? Yeah.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Um,
Well, I happen to run the infrastructure team, so
you do? I thought I was in charge of
No.
HR. What's going on here?
no, you fired HR, so I'm still hanging on to the infrastructure team
Ah,
for the time being, anyway.
okay. Fair enough. Joking aside. Okay, I'll give
What
you
do you
another.
mean joking?
I'll give you. I'll give you another prediction then. We will host the HPR forum instead.
Yes, that might come true. Yes. So, Ken, if you're listening, please do get in touch. Okay, we should probably leave it at that.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Where were we?
The Poxes, yes, Martin.
Oh, Foxes.
Poxes,
Yeah.
yes. So the
Why
Pox
don't
of
you
the
go
week,
first,
Or the
Sport?
episode, whatever. Yes, my Pox of the week is actually a book for a change. Whoa, yes, Chris reads books. It's called My Life. Not sure if it is available.
Sounds
in
like an
English, but
autobiography.
yes, it very much is, Martin.
Okay.
And
Good title
have a
for
guess.
it.
Yes, have a guess who wrote this. Just on the off chance.
Trump?
Far worse.
Worse. Okay. Putin?
No, Martin. No,
Idi Amin?
No.
Who else have we got?
No. Does the name Alice Schwarzer ring a bell?
No. Should it?
Well, Martin, you see, it depends.
Okay.
She invented pretty much German feminism back in
Okay.
the 70s.
See. German
She
journalist.
also published, or she publishes actually, a weekly or monthly or something. I think it's a monthly called Emma.
Called what, sorry?
Called Emma, as in the first name. And that
Okay.
monthly is, the magazine is called Emma.
Okay.
And that has been going on strong since, I think, late 70s.
Right, keep talking.
She's now, I think, about 80 years old. And before Martin gets confused about me having turned or having been turned, the biography, and actually it is it is an autobiography.
Okay.
It's one of the best books I've read lately, because she talks about a lot about women's lib and all the rest of it as in feminism, but at the very core, the book is about how she lived her life in terms of where she comes from, what her background is, how she went where she is today, in terms of, at least in Germany, one of the most influential feminists there is. Now, and I'm not talking about women's lib because, as we all know, Martin and myself are all about affirmative action, equal rights, and all the rest of it. But at the very core, it is how you mobilize masses for a cause. And that's exactly what really kind of triggered me to read through these 700 plus pages, because it's a very riveting book in that regard.
Good.
Yes, it is political, but at the end of the day, she tells a story worth listening to, especially if you're coming from an open source background.
Okay, do tell. What's the open source background got to do with it?
Martin, open source, as you may or may not know, is also about a cause.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very
yes.
Yeah. Let's say
it's not about gender.
Tenuous link.
No, exactly. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's how you pursue your ideals. So, Mr. Stallman, if you're listening, in case you haven't read this book,
isn't he one of our two listeners? Yeah.
He may have no, because in org, but we also publish an MP3, so that wouldn't fly with him.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
yes,
details, of course, with the
and
show
we are
notes,
on all the wrong podcast.
Yes, exactly. We are, yes, exactly. So it won't fly. No worries, Martin. No, but I mean, details with the show notes. As I said, never mind if you're into that political angle, it's worth a read. If you are interested in that kind of angle on society, political affairs, and all the rest of it.
Okay.
Martin, what's your box?
Well, I have chosen a book as well this time, since I had a bit of time to read for it.
You never fail to surprise me.
No, it's it's funny with reading. It's something that one does for many hours, and then somehow all the hours disappear and you can't read anymore. Which is, anyway, there's something that happens in life, I guess, to lots of people. I don't know.
So what's it called?
It's a book by Simon Singh, and it's called The Code Book.
Sounds technical.
No, it's not. It's really about the history of, let's say, cryptography, going back to ancient Egypt to nowadays. So
okay.
More of it's quite a good read in terms of not too technical, but it describes how the need for these kind of mechanisms from a long time back, and how people used to deal with it without computers. Yeah.
Okay, so that stops even before the Enigma and all the rest of them, or?
Oh yeah, it starts with the Egyptians and Caesar and people like that, really. Yeah.
And when does it stop?
Their own quantum technology,
So it does cover the Enigma and some other technologies.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. Okay, fair enough.
The Enigma, of course, being a German invention.
Yes, of course. Cracked by the English, I might add.
Indeed, it is.
A guy called Alan Turing, I think, did the deed.
He had something to do with it. Yeah.
Not long dead anyway, but that doesn't matter. I mean, his contribution is well known anyhow. So I mean, seriously, so it's more like a historic summary or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just rather than a technical book, it's just a good historical read, which is always quite nice.
And of course, it only clocks in at about 1,500 pages, so it's an easy read. Maybe or maybe not.
I don't know. I'm only halfway through. No, it's not that long. It's about 500, I think, something like that.
Manageable, especially over Christmas.
And it features a certain Arthur Zimmerman, if you're interested.
Do tell, Martin, do tell, because that name doesn't ring a bell in the cryptography context.
Well, you
What
looked
did he
him up,
invent?
have you? Is he in your...
No.
Oh, he's not in your relatives.
Lineage? No, he isn't. No,
Oh,
so
okay,
please do tell.
Well,
So-
he's clearly German, as you can tell by the name.
With origin anyway, yes.
So anyway, do tell the listeners what a Zimmerman is. Is this a carpenter or is it someone
Yes.
who
No,
is a man of rooms? Because a Zimmer is clearly a room, right?
No. Says Martin with this background, exactly. No, actually, Zimmerman would be the name of a profession called carpenter. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, he's from the period of the Kaiser. The one who went nuts.
As the German Kaiser, as an emperor. Okay.
And he used to do with encryption with U-boats and stuff like that.
So that's about, 100 years ago or something?
Yes,
Easily.
yeah, 1917-ish, that kind of region.
Yes.
So yeah, not related, I hear.
No, unfortunately, Martin, as you may or may not know, Zimmerman is the third most popular surname in Germany, so...
Or
maybe fourth, I don't know, I can't recall.
You have a lot of people that...
I call Zimmerman, yes.
Yes, did we establish what it means?
Yes, we did, Martin, about 2 seconds ago.
Okay, just checking. While we're on German, what's happened to Wednesday? Or shall we leave them for a different episode?
This is certainly material for the outtakes. Context will not be provided, people. Don't worry about it. Okay, fair enough.
Cool.
And with that case, I think we should wish our listeners
yes,
a very splendid 2023. This episode probably will be published early January, as in 2023. I hope you had a good 2022. Keep on listening, people. If you like the show, if not, please send us mail to Martin.
Oh, mail, yes. Should we mention some of the mail? Feedback at linuxinlogs.eu.
Very well done, yes.
Should we mention some...
Just send hate mail to martin_visser@linuxinlogs.eu because Martin will take care of any hate mail.
That's fine. Feel free.
Martin, you will have in a minute, no worries.
I see.
Exactly.
No, we had some
if
emails
you want to
as
send,
well. Yeah.
Oh, yes, Martin, feedback. Yes, very important. Okay, Martin, you go ahead.
Well, okay, I'll start with one from yesterday from Alex, who wants us to claim our podcast, which is a bit confusing since we already have a podcast, so I'm slightly confused by his message.
Okay, that mail comes from a j.email, so that's the first person actually that I know that has a surname called email.
Oh, wow.
Jay, if you're listening, very well done.
You can change your name to anything these days, can't you?
Yes, and the company name is apparently called Podkite, and he says, and let me read this out. Hi, congratulations, your podcast is ranked in the Apple Podcast charts. We just started tracking for Linux in-laws, and thought you might be interested to receive them. And there's some URL anyway, it doesn't matter. And then it says, can't wait for you to see the results. Best regards, Jay Podkite. So so apparently he has two surnames called Email and Podkite. Very good.
Okay.
Jay, if you're listening, well done. Okay, fair enough. Martin. And there's another email.
Is that the incoming fax or no?
Yes.
Apparently you ordered something. It's an order confirmation.
No, actually, he sent
by fax to our email.
No, actually, no, he actually sent that not yesterday, but the day before, called from Alex Long.
No, that's the one I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Okay, no, I was talking about the mail from Jay. No, but I mean, we won't read out all of these spam mails. But you see, Martin, the thing is that we now have at least bots listening to us,
Yeah.
which is the important
Well, or
thing.
they're
now
able to scrape the email address. That's also possible.
we are being recognized, at least in a spam email context.
Yes.
So world domination is just about 2 months away or something.
We need to have a word with our CISO that he sorts out our spam filtering and stuff. I'm not having any confidence in him right now with all this spam.
Don't worry about it. But keep them coming because we are being noticed at least by some piece of software, which is comforting or reassuring, I might add.
Well, yes, indeed, yeah.
Never mind the downloads of other bots on YouTube, archive.org, podcasts, and some other podcast feeds. No, people jokes aside. The old adage still goes, if you like what you hear, please spread the word. If you don't like what you hear, the email address is not Martin Visser at linuxinlaws.eu, but rather feedback at linuxinlaws.eu. But as we mentioned about, what was it? Almost 3 years ago, when we first did our when we did our first couple of episodes, yes, this is your podcast.
Indeed.
So anything you would like to see on this podcast, interviews, topics, subjects, just name it. Just send a mail to feedback@linuxinlaws.eu. Now, Martin is normally in charge of next week's lotto numbers. Needless to say, that comes with the probability attached. But apart from that, just say the word.
Yeah.
Because essentially, I mean, we are not doing this for ourselves. We are doing this for you. Simple. Martin, we do have additional feedback, I think.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like Salvatore's brother or some kind of relative of him.
Why don't you read it? Yeah, I mean, it's from Alex Sanfilippo, if I recall this correctly.
Yeah. Yes. So clearly must be related to Salvatore, but
It's never, what Salvatore exactly are you referring to?
Salvatore Sanfilippo.
For the two people that know who this is.
Well, we did an episode on this, didn't we? Well,
yes, but not all people might have listened to that episode.
Well, people, if you don't know who he is, listen to the episode about Redis. There you go.
Redis, of course, being the keyword here, because essentially that is the company which now known as Redis, formerly then, when Martin and myself met, was called Redis Labs. And
they closed down the labs, yeah.
I'm not sure if they did, Martin. I'm not too sure. Anyway,
no more mice and rats involved.
But Salvatore Sanfilippo was, of course, the original inventor of the remote dictionary server, which, of course, Redis stands for at the end of the day. And that's exactly the place where Martin and myself met about 35 plus years ago, I think.
It's been a while.
No, jokes aside, it's about, 7 years ago or something? I can't even remember.
No, don't worry about it.
I normally don't, Martin. That's the beauty. But back to the original question at hand.
Yes.
Namely feedback. Yes. Why don't you read it out?
Sure. So, Alex says, interesting. Does he not have a subject? Does he have a subject?
Says here,
the subject is just Linux in-laws. Yeah, okay, fine.
Yes.
So Alex says, hey, I found Linux in-laws on Apple Podcasts. Well done, Alex. As a fellow podcaster, I want to connect. How's the show going?
Sorry.
Yeah. How's the show going? Is there anything I can do to be helpful or supportive? Yes. One thing you may get value from is Podmatch. It helps you find guests to interview. Yes. Helps you find guests to interview while monetizing your podcast at the same time. If you are not looking for guests, you can also be a guest on other podcasts. I recorded this short video about it.
Okay.
I believe you watched the video.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry, there's more to the email, I think.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Well, there's some footer stuff.
If there's anything I can do to be helpful, please let me know. Yes. Okay.
Oh, no, the PS is interesting as well. Yes, I am a real person.
Yes. AS means read. Sorry, I'm a real person sending this mail. You're not on a mailing list. But if you don't like hearing from me, please click here to let me know. Okay, 3 important takeaways from this mail. Okay, he found us on Apple Podcasts. So Martin, well done. There's something called Podmatch.
Clearly down to his skill, right? Not me.
Okay, so Martin, I mean, the beauty is basically, as said before, we are famous as we are releasing this because
yes,
not only
we got Salvatore's brother writing in. Yes.
No, but I mean, real spammers send mails to us.
No. He's a real person. He's not a spammer.
You see, fair enough. I mean, this is what a bot might tell you. Saying that, fair enough. So, that's not the Martin. You see, this is not the point. No, the point is quite different. The point is actually that we are being recognized even by spammers. So your point of nobody's listening to us, all the rest of it is simply not true. If you know what I mean.
Well, he doesn't have to be listening to send an email.
That's true.
Automation
somehow pick up on this podcast. Doesn't matter. Okay. No, jokes aside, people. Sorry, Alex. And we don't mean to take the piss at you, but we just did. Fair enough. But
purely accidental.
Please keep sending us unsolicited mails. We really appreciate this. And people, the links will be in the show notes. Oh, sorry, the link will be in the show notes because this is a media not to be missed. So, if you're kind of really serious about getting your business off the ground, please take a look at the video because the video will tell you exactly how not to do it. Without giving too much away.
Oh dear.
Just take a look at the video and just kind of turn around about 180 degrees and then take it from there. Because the video is somewhat counterproductive. We got to leave it at that. No more spoilers. Alex, I hope you get your business off the ground. Please keep sending mails and please keep posting videos on YouTube. We really appreciate the fact because at the end of the day, we are all here for a laugh or two. And with that, all the best for the next year, the year afterwards, and the rest of the years, I think.
All of them, yes, of course.
Exactly.
Very good.
And thank you for listening. This is the Linux In-Laws.
You come for the knowledge,
but stay for the madness.
Thank you for listening.
This podcast is licensed under the latest version of the Creative Commons license, type Attribution Share Alike. Credits for the intro music go to Blue Sea Roosters for their song Solid Market, to Twin Flames for their piece called The Flow, used for the segment intros, and finally to Celestial Ground for their song Sweet Justice, used by the Dark Side. You find these and other ditties licensed under CC at Jamendo, a website dedicated to liberate the music industry from choking copyright legislation and other crap concepts.
Use multi-cloud. Use VMware. VMware, if you're listening.
This is something for the outtakes, I suppose. Yes.
Yes.